Hello, welcome to the Crypto with Kash Cast episode number 13. I'm your host. My name is Duncan Morland, and I'm joined by our resident crypto expert, Kashaya Abbasi. Hello, Kash.
Hey, how you doing? You right?
Yeah, I'm okay. Before I ask you how you are, we've just got to let people know. Actually, no, go on then. How are you? You okay?
You know what? I'm okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
That's
you
it.
can.
That's all you're getting, just
Yeah,
that,
that's it. That's what
5
you need to do.
seconds. Because on March the 3rd, we're holding another one of your world-renowned crypto workshops where people can join you to find out how your cryptocurrency, crypto cash strategy works. And also, I hear on the grapevine you're going to be sharing a different cryptocurrency with people for free. Is this true?
That is absolutely true. Yes.
That's good. And so previously you'd shared, I think we just said sushi,
Yeah.
sushi swap with people. But this time around on March the 3rd, you're going to be showing a different crypto with cash portfolio coin and walking people through the strategy with this coin. Can you give it? Can you? Oh, by the way, if people want to join the workshop, there'll be a link below this podcast on YouTube or the other platforms. But can you give people a sneak peek at what this coin is?
It's an interesting one because I feel like it's under the radar at the moment. There's been a lot of similar projects that have done very, very well this past few years, a year and a half or so. This is a project that's under the radar, I would say. And I feel like once the market picks back up, I do see this project doing very well, especially in the long term as well.
Yeah, I think it's got a really strong, I've been rereading your narrative, like as we get your write-up for it, we've been getting ready for the event, and I think it's got a really, really strong narrative. Like
it's very unique.
Yeah. Anyway, we've probably said too much already. So I feel like we need to have a 30-second obligatory conversation about the wind.
Yeah, let's do that.
Is it windy in London?
It's very windy. I actually went out earlier to get some food.
Did you?
As I was driving,
Yeah.
I was driving. It was crazy. Like, I don't know why these are still around, but 2 dried up Christmas trees like slid across the road as I was driving. And then after on my way back, there was a tree that was completely uprooted. Half of it was already in the road, and cars had to like swerve around it.
So lots of tree-based mayhem going on.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you've seen the videos of what the O2 looks like at the moment.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. Yeah, like the roof's been torn off, and there was also a chapel or church in Somerset.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, exciting stuff in Britain. Well, yeah, hopefully most people are okay. Here in Devon, it's been pretty windy. I went for a walk along the beach, and it was more windy than usual.
Yeah, does Devon have sandy beaches?
Yeah, but there's kind of like a footpath, so yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have to eat any sand.
It wasn't too bad where you were.
No, not too bad. Yeah, no, I didn't see any.
So no bins flying around.
Maybe my shoe. I've got some walking boots at the front of the house, and they were not upright anymore. That's probably the most chaos I've
seen.
Crazy. Right, so crypto stuff. What crypto stuff are we talking about today? I'll just do a quick bullet point list. We're going to talk about your Helium crypto miner, which you recently received. We're going to talk about the different options for shorting the crypto market, which was a request from BetChat's Beck. And we're going to talk about crypto volatility, which might involve talking about Russia and Ukraine. And then I wanted to, if we got time, I wanted to ask you about seed phrases and the nightmare of being responsible for your own money. So your Helium miner, can you just explain what this is for anyone that doesn't know?
Yeah, so essentially Helium is a network owned by people for people. So instead of, these large corporations providing internet, what you can do is set up these hotspot devices within your home and then share data with everyone else in your area. And in doing so, you get paid in the native currency of Helium, which is HNT. So this project has actually gone very viral. and the devices that are used to mine these, the hotspot devices, if you look at the website, thousands and thousands are getting added per day. I think there's over 500,000, maybe even closer to 1 million now, of these hotspots set up all across the globe. When I ordered mine, when I went to order it, actually, it was sold out everywhere. So I ended up buying it from a reseller online. It still took over a month and a half to get here. And I had to pay maybe twice the price that it actually was meant to be.
So what does it look like? It's just so people know, it's like a physical box.
Imagine your router sort of thing.
Right, okay.
Router, same sort of shape. And it comes with an antenna that you can, place near your window or somewhere high up. You can also upgrade the antenna to reach further out. That way you're more likely to earn more H&T, because you'll be connecting to more out, hotspots around you. But yeah, it's been going well. The good thing about it is that, as opposed to Bitcoin mining, for example, it doesn't require any sort of setup. You literally just plug it in and it does the rest for you. It's very quiet. It makes no noise whatsoever, and it doesn't really require any maintenance. So you just leave it there. You can leave it in an unused room, for example.
Where have you put yours? On the roof?
I've put mine close to a window.
Okay.
And I've tried to put the antenna as high as possible. That way you're more likely to reach other people. It's been going all right.
How much
I've made.
It's not that much, to
be fair.
Have you got an app on your phone that tells you then?
Yeah, so it tells you can track your wallet, and it tells you exactly. So it's not too much, but like, for example, in the past 8 hours, I've made 16 pence, which is not too bad.
It's passive. So like,
exactly.
How much a day do you reckon you would get, roughly?
It really depends. It's difficult to say. Some days it could be like 10p, so other days it could be 30p, 40p. It really depends.
Yeah.
The area that I'm in, there are quite a few other hotspot miners, hotspots, and the more there are, the less you're likely you are to make, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So if you find an area, if you go on the Helium Explorer page and then enter your area and your postcode, you can find out how many others there are in your area. And if there's, so basically it needs to be more than 300 meters away from other hotspots. Where I live, there's quite a few within 300 meters, which is quite surprising. But in areas where you're further away, you can earn a lot more. Some people I've seen, it's all public, some people are making $300, $400 a month from this.
Yeah. So now you know all the crypto fanatics, where all the crypto fanatics live in your neighborhood. Yeah. When you look at the map, you're like, oh, they've got a crypto helium miner. No, that's really cool. So what made you sort of get involved with it? Did you just want to try it out?
Yeah, that was my biggest sort of thing, idea behind it. I just wanted to try it out. It was very interesting to me how, because I've heard, with Bitcoin mining is quite loud. It's you need like pretty good computers to maintain the whole system. With this, you just plug it in. That's it. So yeah, it was just interesting for me.
Yeah, I did. I think I might have mentioned this before, but I did do some crypto mining on my like gaming computer, last year or the year before. And yeah, I made like £4 in it was like 48 hours or 3 days or something.
Yeah.
Eventually I turned it off because it was annoying having it on all the time. And that was £4 without taking electricity into account as well.
Yeah, that's good.
But it was fun to like try it and see how it works and stuff.
That's another thing. So these barely use any electricity at all.
Right. Okay, that's good.
So all you need is it's just got lights on it, and the rest, all it does is actually download data. So if you've got unlimited internet at home, then you won't be paying any more for having it on there.
Yeah. So is it still worthwhile people getting into it? I guess it depends on where they live.
It depends on the area, really.
But you can check that. You can check that
by going on the Helium Explorer website. You just enter your postcode, and it shows you how many other people in your area have one. Then you can actually order it by the earnings. So if you select your area, you can look around you to see where you're more likely to earn more money. So if you have friends and family, for example, and their area shows to be better earning, region, you could essentially ask to put your passport there, sort of thing.
Start like a helium mining mafia, just like
Which
get
some
all your
people
family
actually
involved.
have, you know.
Yeah, I remember when I was looking at it, like, yeah, there's clearly places where people just kind of like in the middle of nowhere, and there'll be like 20 or whatever,
Yeah.
and they've clearly like gone all out. And but yeah, it's really interesting. People can have a look on the map. So I guess if you just type in helium
We
crypto
can provide a
mining map,
link
yeah.
as
Oh
well.
yeah, we can put a link underneath the podcast. Okay, that's cool. So the question we had from, also I just wanted to point out, like, to me your audio is slightly robotic. I don't know if that's it might be okay in the final kind of recording thing, but just in case, not that we can do anything about it now, but
yeah.
So Beck, who works for BetChat, who run the Crypto with Kash service, publish it, she wanted to know, well, first of all, can you short crypto markets? So can you bet on them going down? Can you bet on cryptos going down in value and make money when they do? And if you can, like what options are there?
Yeah, so there are derivative platforms out there, but it's an interesting question because different platforms have different rules. So FTX, for example, they don't allow UK users to use their derivative products, which would allow users to short the market. So, for example, if Bitcoin's at 60,000 and you think it's going to 30,000, you could short the market and make money as the market goes down. Binance, it's a tricky one because some users are reporting that Binance has said, okay, since you're a UK user, we can't allow you to use derivative products anymore. Other users are, able to continue using the service. I'm not sure whether it's a case of them catching up later, or maybe they've just fallen through the gap sort of thing, and maybe later on they'll be told the same message. But there are platforms out there that offer this service. The thing is, with shorting the market or even longing, which is, if you think Bitcoin is going from 30K to 40K, 50K and higher, you could also long the market using leverage. But the risk with leverage is that, the crypto market is already volatile as it is. And by using leverage, there is a risk of liquidation. So if the market goes against you and you've used high leverage, then you can get liquidated and actually lose your money. Whereas if you're just buying through the spot markets, which is what we do at Crypto with Kash, we just use the spot markets, we just buy the assets directly. There's no risk of liquidation. Of course, the value may go up and down, but there is no risk of you losing all of your holdings.
Yeah, because leverage basically amplifies the profits on one side, but then amplifies the losses on the other side, so it can wipe you out. Do you think it's worth trying to short markets, short the crypto markets? Do you think it's like, have you seen it? Do you know anyone that's had success with it or anything like that?
Like if you look at online statistics, I think, for example, platforms like eToro, they say something around 70-80% of users who use leverage lose money.
Yeah, it's on there. It's at the top of their website, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, there's only a small percentage who actually are profitable, and the rest just break even, sort of thing. What some people do is they have a long-term portfolio, they have a shorter-term trading portfolio, and they have like a even smaller portfolio for derivative trading with leverage. But again, this is money that if you are going to use leverage, I would highly remind you that there is a risk of liquidation, so just be very careful.
Yeah, because you're also basically saying that you can time the market and predict like when and where it's going to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Rather than doing what you do with Crypto with Kash, is like find crypto projects with really good fundamentals and like they're solving a problem and like the team's in check and everything else, and then invest with the expectation that they'll go up over the medium to long term.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are options if Beck wants to go crazy and start gambling all her money away. So I hope that answers your question, Beck. So we've got on the list, I've got volatility written down. Obviously, the crypto markets are still in a downtrend. They've gone up a bit in the last week or so, I think,
Yeah.
from where they were. Nobody really knows if they've hit their low or not yet. Although you shared an interesting tweet from, who was that from?
Zhu Su, the CEO of 3 Hours Capital. They have over $10 billion of assets under management in crypto. They're a crypto native, trading / VC firm. They invest heavily into different ecosystems. I think Susu is one of the most successful traders in crypto, alongside Sam Bankman-Fried and others that we've discussed before. So Suzu recently tweeted that a lot of the signals that he uses to determine whether the market has bottomed out, 90% have already gone off, have already been triggered. Of course, the markets may go down lower, but he's saying that this is the region where he's predicting that the market has bottomed out or may go lower and bottom out. He did mention that there will be some volatility, of course, due to the Russia and Ukraine crisis. I mean, it's not just crypto that's been affected recently. Even the S&P 500 is down. PayPal is down. Facebook is down. Their charts look abysmal.
Yeah, you shared some charts in the chat.
It's rare to see charts looking like that, in the stock market. You would expect that to in the crypto market because they're so much more volatile, but not in the stock market.
Facebook and Netflix charts you shared, it's just like a sheer drop on their price charts.
PayPal as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I think PayPal's erased 2 years of gains within 2 weeks. Something crazy.
So can you just talk about like why is it when big geopolitical kind of events like potential war in Europe, when these things happen, why do people how do the markets react? And I guess it's not, the markets don't react in the same way every time, but from what is your understanding of what's been happening over the last few months?
It's just, generally speaking, it's just the idea that if there is an outbreak of war, then resources will become trading routes, supply routes, and these can become affected. And essentially, when there is a potential for war, then the market turns risk off, because they're like, okay, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's take our money off and see what the market decides to do, and then we can reinvest. So a lot of people just sell their stocks and go back into fiat currencies, such as the dollar. And then they're like, okay, let's see what the market does, and then they can reinvest later. But what happens was, when there is an outbreak of war, then it's likely that a lot of these stocks will go lower, and crypto as well. So we'll just have to see. No one knows how long it's going to take before this whole, crisis is averted or is avoided, or whether it actually does happen. We'll just have to see, and just follow as closely as we can.
Yeah, and so I guess it's like the more uncertainty there is in the world, the more risk averse people become with investments. Exactly. Maybe. Yeah, and we are just talking about what's happening in Russia and Ukraine from a money point of view, because we're talking about crypto and stuff. So I just wanted to point that out. Obviously, I hope war doesn't break out.
Of course, that goes without saying.
Yeah, so just thought, I don't know, it's easy just to talk about money all the time.
It's just interesting because just following the news so far, it feels like Western media is trying to, they've repeatedly said, oh, Russia's about to invade. I think the US has said repeatedly that, by 1 p.m. tomorrow, they're going to invade. And every time the date comes, nothing happens. The Ukraine has said Western media seems to be, exaggerating claims of this possible invasion. But we'll have to see. It's a tough one. There's a lot of misinformation. I'm seeing videos being posted on social media from different unrelated conflicts, and they're claiming it to be, from Russia or from Ukraine. So, I think that's just an issue that social media has at the moment. There's so much fake news, and it's difficult to get accurate information these days.
I agree. I think some of the most interesting stuff I've heard is people in Ukraine ringing up radio shows and talking about how they see it, how they see the media coverage, how they see you know, what's going on with the troops, with Russia's troops on the border and stuff. And obviously, like, there's loads of different opinions there as well, and loads of different perspectives from Ukrainian people. But like, I do think a Ukrainian person has a much better understanding than I will about this.
Yeah,
so yeah,
of
it's
course,
like interesting to hear them. Okay, so we've done helium, crypto mining, YOLOing the falling crypto market. We've solved the war, potential war in Ukraine and Russia. And then I wanted to just talk to you, and this maybe we extend this into a different Crypto with Kash Cast episode. I just want to talk to you about managing crypto wallets and managing seed phrases. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I'm not good at managing this stuff, I guess. Like, I mean, most people listening to this will understand, I think, what a crypto wallet is, but just for those that don't, I mean, you can buy cryptocurrency on a public exchange and you can just leave it sitting there, but then it's kind of at risk of being hacked. You know, if there's something happens to the exchange, you know, you just have to hope that they reimburse you. So if you have any kind of amount of cryptocurrency, you're supposed to transfer it into a crypto wallet, and which is much more secure. And generally they're secured with a long, like different things, but a long seed phrase, which you remember. And basically anybody who has access to this seed phrase can access the wallet funds. So you note down the seed phrase. Ideally, you probably don't put it on anything digital like a computer, and you just hide it away somewhere. But then you are also like wholly responsible for your funds in this wallet. And if you lose that seed phrase, you don't have access to the funds anymore. And I think like people would have seen headlines of people forgetting seed phrases and like losing millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency and things like that.
Yeah.
So to me, this is an issue I have, like when I think about putting more money into the crypto space. Like, it's like, am I going to be able to manage the security properly? Will I lose my seed phrases? Like, and also I think it's a barrier to entry for the average person, because I don't think the average person wants to be wholly responsible for all of their money. Like, one mistake and they've lost their life savings kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, like, what are your thoughts about this, and what can people do to sort of steps they can take, or things they can do to sort of make it less stressful, maybe, or but equally keep things as secure?
I definitely agree with you that it is in a way a barrier for newcomers into crypto, because there is a technical side of crypto when it comes to wallets and things of that nature. When you are setting up a wallet, it may seem quite technical. You know, the idea that you have to jot down this seed phrase and it's solely up to you to keep it safe. You cannot rely on, you know, a company or like a bank as you would usually to take care of your funds. I mean, there are, I would say, some alternatives of that is to use a hardware wallet, because a hardware wallet, it stores the private keys in the device. And you simply have to physically approve the transaction when you're making a transaction, when you're buying, you know, sending from the wallet. An alternative to that is, when you are setting up the wallet, what a lot of people tend to do is they copy down the seed phrase, because you know they're setting up on a computer or their phone. They copy down the seed phrase into a document and save it on their computer, or they you know keep it in their notes folder. That's a very big risk, because if your computer was to get hacked, there's software out there that automatically recognizes which documents have, you know, seed phrases or, you know, private keys. So if, you know, you're creating essentially a single point of, you know, of error, in a sense that if you keep all your private keys in a document like that on your PC, then as soon as a virus or a malware comes onto your system, they can track exactly where it is, even if you've hidden it. So you have to be very careful. What you can do is, when you do create these wallets, just make a note of the seed phrases on a piece of paper and keep that paper safe. There are now wallets out there which are essentially act as two metal plates. So you what they essentially do is you write down your private keys or seed phrases, you put it on the piece of paper and you cover it with 2 metal plates. The reason it's 2 metal plates is that in case there is a fire, for example, it protects the paper inside. Of course, you don't have to use the paper, the metal plates. You can simply just write it on a piece of paper and keep that safe. But I totally understand how it may be a barrier to entry for newcomers.
Yeah, I think the weird thing is, and I don't know if I've said this in the past, is, for a decentralized technology where there's not one point of failure, this is a massive single point of failure. And I guess you can sort of hide the seed phrase in multiple places, make copies of it. And like you said, there's metal wallets that encase paper, and there's also, I've seen almost like metal plaques, and you kind of almost scratch in the seed phrase, or scratch in like a code that lets you untangle the seed phrase, so somebody who doesn't know the
sort of thing.
Yeah, which is just another layer of security. But to me, it's like another layer of like, oh god, now I've got to remember the code for the code kind of thing. There isn't. I've definitely brought this up in the past, like social wallets. Like there's one called Argent, and Loopring is also one. Loopring also has a social wallet where, rather than remembering a seed phrase, you select guardians, which could be like friends or institutions or even a hardware wallet, and if you're doing like big transactions, more than half of those guardians would have to say yes, it's okay to make this transaction. So it's securing things in a more decentralized way, I guess, like giving you a bit more choice, like distributing the kind of security a bit. The only problem with those is that they're on Ethereum. So and the gas fees, the transaction fees on Ethereum are so high at the moment that even to create one of these Guardian wallets, you have to pay like $100. So like, I don't know, £80 or something just to create the wallet. And then they're not available on. Yeah, and they're not available on any of the cheaper networks at the moment. I keep searching regularly, like anyone making a social wallet on like Polygon or one of the other things, but no, not yet. I don't know. So I guess it's just a case of like just dealing with the reality of it at the moment. Like you have to store these long phrases.
Yeah, I think there's a side of crypto where you have to take responsibility for your own funds. A lot of people, they do take pictures and store it on their computer. Even people who have millions of dollars worth of crypto, like some of I think there was a case back in 2018 where a really popular YouTuber, basically he got hacked and he lost millions of dollars worth of crypto because he kept it on like an online database. So he made that mistake. It's highly recommended that you use a hardware wallet. Or if you do choose to leave it on an exchange, definitely activate two-factor authentication. That way, you're adding a second layer of security to your account.
You just reminded me, actually. I think we talked about them on the last podcast. The people that got caught for trying to like sell like a $4 billion worth of money that they'd crypto that they'd stolen. They stored all of their stuff in the cloud.
Exactly. That's a massive one
on a laptop. And I think that's how the FBI got all the evidence they needed. Basically,
that's how they were able to seize the funds, because the private keys of over 2,000 wallets or so were kept on an online database.
2,000. Oh, I guess they had those. They'd hacked those from the exchange.
See, that's another thing which actually reminds me. Don't keep all your coins in one wallet. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Essentially, use different wallets. That's another way to like obfuscate or make it harder for hackers to access your funds.
And when you say you have multiple, so you can have multiple addresses with, say, MetaMask, is that right?
Yeah.
And somebody can't necessarily connect those addresses together, I guess, unless you're sending currency between them.
Yeah, exactly.
But even then, they couldn't really say, "Oh, this is definitely you," or whatever. But so there are.
Funny enough, when you do buy a hardware wallet, it comes with like a piece of paper that makes you write down all the words, and before the wallet is activated, you have to enter those words to make sure that you've written it down correctly before you can start using it.
Yeah.
So So yeah.
Okay. So it's not the problem's not solved in the way I'd like.
It's not ideal,
but
it's what we have at the moment. But hopefully, as you said, these social wallets and these alternatives that are coming out could take over soon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before we shut this podcast down, not forever, but until next week, just want to remind people that we're holding the workshop on the 3rd of March, which is a Tuesday, not next Tuesday. Well, it depends when this podcast goes out, so I won't say that. But yeah, 3rd of March on a Tuesday, it'll probably be about 7 p.m. And as we said before, Kash will be sharing his strategy and one of the portfolio coins that we haven't talked about publicly before. And also, I've just been putting some material together for it, and Bitcoin is currently down. So basically, I will finish the podcast with this teaser, which is since you launched Crypto with Kash last March, the Crypto with Kash portfolio has outperformed Bitcoin 6 times over. So I definitely think it's worth finding out how you did that, Kash. What magic you did. Yeah. What magic you implemented to beat Bitcoin that severely. So thank you for today chatting.
Awesome. Thank you.
And if anyone wants to like, subscribe, send us
questions,
flowers. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, all flowers.
Yeah, comments or flowers, then we'll be more than happy to accept them. And yeah, thank you for listening, everyone. And see you next time, Kash.
See ya. Take care.